Great.
Yeah, man.
Welcome back to the Men on the Internet podcast. A podcast where intelligent men. Now we about to turn.
I was gonna say, what voice was that?
That's my NPR voice. Hey guys, welcome to government-funded NPR.
What's that name? What name do you go by on NPR?
Guptev.
Why you gotta be Indian and not even a real Indian name?
I don't know where he come from. You know they got them voices where it's like, where the hell are they from? Well, the Iranians were fighting with the chartreuse.
It's so the charcuteries.
Yeah, I mean, the charcuteries be going hard, especially when they ain't got the meat in it.
Hey,
no, I don't run that way.
Hey, what's a real educated Haitian name?
Ooh, well, everybody's name is Jean.
But what would be like a I guess Jean could be educated as well.
Well, there's always a hyphen. So my grandpa's name was Jean Brisson.
Oof.
In America, that sound all right.
Yeah.
In Creole, that sound like, damn, he's violent. Because, it's like Brisson.
Yeah.
But, like, if you say it with the Frenchness to it, like, Jean Brisson, it's like, ooh, interesting. I don't know.
You know, like how they have, like, nerdy names here? Like, what's a nerdy...
American name?
A nerdy... No.
A nerdy Haitian name?
Yeah.
Man, probably some American name. Like, his mom was like, you're going to fit in.
You're Samuel.
Samuel.
Ooh. Yo, when you put that Haitian French Creole thing on it, it makes all them names sound fire. Say my name if I was Haitian. Suneil.
Putting me on the spot. I don't know.
Suneil.
Monsieur Suneil. You always got to be formal.
What's your Haitian name?
Kirby Joseph.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've been watching Bosch season 7. It's the last season. And one of the main characters, he's Haitian. And in these last 2 seasons, it's been real Haitian. Like, he's speaking Creole, and they're dealing with, like, people in the Haitian community and stuff like that. You know this actor? I forget his name. He was also in The Wire. He played Marlo Stansfield.
No.
He was also in Heroes.
Oh,
He has
I don't
a
know
scar
who
on
that
his
is,
face.
but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's a dope actor.
I know who you're talking about. Shoot, am I related to him?
Probably.
Oh yeah, I was.
You Haitian and in the industry,
He
y'all definitely
always
related.
plays Haitian.
Nah, he doesn't. That's the thing. This was the first time I've ever seen him play a Haitian. Oh, maybe in Heroes he kind of played it.
I was gonna say in
No,
Heroes,
but Heroes he was like he might have been Haitian, but he was more like this like dark guy with powers, right? So, but he might have been the Haitian. But in The Wire, he was just like
a dude.
Gang. No, he was the shot caller of the gang.
I need to look this guy up. So
Yeah.
I can see his face. So what's his name again?
So he played Marlo Stansfield in The Wire. He's in Bosch.
Marlo Stansfield. Okay. Oh, Jamie Hector.
Yeah.
Is he Haitian?
I don't know, but he plays one on
but he's from New York, so he probably is Haitian. He looks Haitian from where I'm sitting.
His Creole sounded impeccable. Clearly, I don't know what Creole.
Yeah, he's Haitian. He's of Haitian descent.
Yeah.
As soon as I see Brooklyn, I was like, you either Haitian or you Dominican, you Jamaican. What else do they got over there?
Cubans. Not really. That's Miami.
Florida. It's Florida. When I lived in Florida, it was New York, just in the South. It was Haitians, Cubans, Dominicans, and Haitians.
The Caribbean's
Trinidad,
represented.
Tobago, Jamaicans. Yeah, I kind of miss Florida a little bit.
Dude, when I lived on the East Coast, I talked to somebody actually at work because they came from the East Coast, or they were in St. Louis or something. I don't know, but I was talking to somebody on the East Coast, and they said, "What do you like better, East Coast or California?" I said, "Well, California's home. My family's here. My friends are here. The weather's nicer. But the thing about the East Coast is they have way more like culture." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Dude, they have the Caribbean stuff all the way out there. Like, you can't find like really good Caribbean food here. You're not finding Caribbean like spots that are playing Caribbean music at the clubs and stuff like that."
Yeah.
And
it's a different
on the
thing.
East Coast, you could find that like everywhere. Like it's major.
Yeah, it's like the further you go, the just like I don't actually want to say less culture because it's just a different culture. Because California got mad Mexicans.
Yeah, but it's not, diverse culture. I guess California definitely has diverse cultures, but I'm saying like
it's not the same.
Exactly.
Because the thing is, we far from the islands.
True.
And then people was like, "Yo, man, we took a boat here. Now we got to drive.
But you know what's funny is our weather is probably more similar to the islands than New York for sure.
New York got that humidity though.
Yeah, but they got that snow too, and none of them island people ever saw snow before.
But Brooklyn Haitians, this might be something. Ty, cut this up for the Instagram. Who is the snootiest Haitian? And I'll tell you, it's New York Haitians.
Really?
They think that they's built different, and we are. But I'm also a Floridian, so
you can claim whatever convenient at the moment.
Yeah. I'm definitely a Fort Lauderdale Haitian too. There's definitely a difference between Hialeah, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale Haitian. There's a difference, and we are 40 minutes away, but there's a difference.
Right.
Them New York, the New York Haitians are in Miami, and then we're like, once they realize, like, yo, it's kind of dangerous out there. Let me go to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, y'all answer. Who's the snootiest Haitian? I know one of the homies from back home is about to comment on this one. But yeah, how's your week?
Week's been good, man. Really productive. Like we talked about, I started my YouTube channel.
Growing.
Yeah, so it's been going pretty good. Definitely better than expected. So been really working on that after work and whatnot. Yeah, man, focused on just leveling up.
Let's go.
Level up.
Let's go.
Level up. What about you, man? We never talk about your week. How was your week?
Nah, man. It's cool anyways.
And now you know why.
Nah, it was cool. I actually had a little bit of disappointments this week. We lost a really big contract that I was super excited about doing. They said it had nothing to do with us. We want to move in a different direction and all that stuff. But, like, come on.
Contract wasn't signed?
There was a contract, but nothing was happening.
Gotcha.
Like, there was pre-production stuff happening. But I knew from the first meeting this may not go how I wanted it to go.
Right.
And they kept, like, pushing it and all that kind of stuff. So once it finally came through, I knew it wasn't going to happen, for a month. But I kept, every time I asked, they were like, oh, yeah, we're down. So I was like, all right. But in the back of my mind, you know when things ain't flush.
Right.
So when it finally came through, I was a little bit disappointed, especially because, some of the things that we're already working on are sort of difficult, and we've reached a funky place on that. And retention is key.
Right.
Like, you have to retain your client, even if it's a difficult client. If it's a impossible client, let them go. But a difficult client who pays all your bills, like,
right. Especially if you're in a growing phase, right? You can't be too picky. But once you build, then you could decide who you want to work with.
And there's some cool stuff actually coming on the way for Q4. A couple of cool places that want to showcase the work.
Okay, you say KKL Productions going international?
Yeah.
You say KKL Productions getting their passports together?
Listen, man.
Hey.
Here's the thing. We have a couple of cool outlets that I had some conversations with this week. Some of them are actually so big that I'm like, I don't know if I really deserve to be here. Well, I'm not quite there
you ain't
yet.
telling nobody, though. You just fake it till you make it.
Right, but some of it is also because, like, it could bring me so much business that I don't have the time to properly grow. And a couple of the lessons I'm learning right now is just making sure that all your ducks are in a row.
Right.
Make sure everything is set, because make sure that the people you work with have the same vision as you. They know what you want, and that's some of the difficult things that come along with this position where it's like, okay, we're making things happen, but at the same time too, like, I'm very much so a keep the client, make them happy type of person. And at the same time too, like, not everybody thinks that same way.
Right.
And I also, like, one of the difficulties for me is this working from home thing. I really don't like it. I don't like it, because it's hard to keep everybody accountable for what they're supposed to be doing, and all that kind of stuff. So I want to make sure when the opportunity comes, I'm ready to meet it. Because I don't want no big client to come and talk to me, and then everybody that's supposed to be doing their jobs is not,
Right.
And there's other difficulties that come along with that too, like some of our key people stepping out for a little bit, and it's like, oof, it makes things difficult, So
Yeah, it's really important to understand what you can and can't handle.
yeah, oh, man.
That's like one of the keys, I think, for people to be successful. Like, successful people tend to know what their limits are, and they're really honest with themselves as far as like what they can do and what they can't do. And what I've noticed is successful people are really good at saying no.
Yeah, they're good at saying no and when to say no.
Right.
Because like there's a lesson that I learned a few years ago. I was working at a college, and I had these ideas on growth. I was like, yo, we seem to be having issues on growing this campus. I have an idea. We can take this from X amount of students. Let's say it's 100 students. My idea can take us from 100 to 250 for sure. And I presented it, and the campus president was just like, yeah, that will work, but I don't want to do it. And I, at the time, was like, what? And he was like, we are a very slow-growing, slow-moving campus. We don't have everything that it takes to house 250 students. We don't have the teachers for it. We don't have the space for it. We don't have that. So right now, it's all about making sure we have a predictable pattern of business for a while, for like the next 10 years. And I was like,
Yeah, because I think a lot of people just feel like it's all go, 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 but you got to really build that foundation, really know, what you're capable of at 100%, right? Because once you know what you're capable of at 100%, then you could realize, okay, what my 80% will look like, what my 90% will look like. Because if you think your 100% is at a certain point, but that's what somebody expects at 80, 90%, and then you water yourself down even more, then you start looking really funky, and it can mess up your whole thing. Yeah. I've done it too. When I was running my own business, I got a little bit hot, doing really, really well. Start feeling yourself. But once you start doing well, that's when more opportunities come. But if you're not like you could be doing well without really still being where it's like muscle memory that you could still do well, right?
Right.
And so it still takes a lot of energy. It still takes a lot of work. But then it gets to a point where once you master it, it becomes easier to put out the same type of production, right?
Right.
Like just like working out, right? It gets easier to lift a certain weight once you've done it more and more times. But if you start adding weight before you've gotten to that point, then you start to struggle again. I think that's one thing to understand. And one thing that I've gotten better at personally is just being able to say no and be like, you can't take every opportunity that comes your way. You really got to focus on what's important to you.
Yeah, and that's important. And just like that whole working out thing that you said, like imagine being able to lift that new weight. You have to take that period of time to lift that new weight.
Right.
Even though I can do it, that's not a sign to say, go to the next level immediately. Well, can you do it 10 times? Can you do it 12 times? Or can you do it so much to the point where like
it feels like a lower weight?
Yeah, exactly.
Used to feel for you.
And then we're gonna take more.
Right.
And that more, just because now you've mastered that 245 plates, that next level, you're going to have a bigger jump.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you put 10 more pounds onto it, it's just going to be like, oh, that's not a lot. But then if you put a 25 plate on there, you start really
feeling it.
Yeah. So it's just like that's where we are right now. Every day is a new lesson. Every day is a new lesson. There's a lot of frustrations that come with it.
Yeah.
And that's why even when I was speaking to these publications, like one of the really big ones, I was like, I don't actually think I'm ready for this. And they were surprised to hear that. Because, of course, everybody wants to be on this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just am not there. Like, I know I have this opportunity, and it's crazy that I'm speaking to you. But if you give me this shot, and then Walmart comes to me and says, yo, we need 10 commercials, I can't do it. It's not that I can't do it. Like I can, but we just don't have the infrastructure to make it seamless.
Right.
And it will become very difficult. So maybe in 6 months, we could be there.
And that's tough because maybe that opportunity isn't there in 6 months, but you just have to have faith that something else will be there.
If it's not one thing, it's another.
Right.
You know, if it's not Walmart, but and sometimes it doesn't work out.
Right.
Like I remember a few years ago, I booked a TV show, and I did the TV show, and my very next audition, it was another TV show, but it was to be a lead, like the main character.
Mm-hmm.
The main character who they had dropped out last second.
Okay.
And it was a sports show. At the time, I was super fit, and I booked it on the spot. They called my agent. By the time I got to the car, my agent was like, "We're shooting in 2 days."
Wow.
And my mom called me and was like, "Yo, I need you to come to Florida." And I was like, "What's up?" She said she was sick, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff happened. I went back into the casting room that same moment. The moment I booked it live, and I walked right back in there, and I was like, "Yo, my mom is sick. I need to go to Florida. Can we push the shoot a couple days?" They said no. They had rented a school. They spent all this money, and they were like, "The only reason you're here is because the main guy did this exact thing." So I called my agent, and I was like, "My mom is sick. I need to go to Florida right now, tomorrow." And she was like, "Another opportunity will come. No biggie."
That's dope.
And I was like, "Whoa. This is like a lot of money," because it was like 12 episodes like that.
Wow.
And each one is like 30 grand.
Wow.
So I was like, I can't even believe my agent is saying that. But I'm on a hot streak.
Right.
I did a TV show. This is my next one. In my head, I was like, I'm about to book again.
Right.
Like, as soon as I come back, I'll book another one. Man, I never booked. That was like 8 years ago.
Wow.
So sometimes it doesn't come. Or it takes a long time. Like, look at Dave Chappelle. His opportunity took like 10 years.
Right.
You know, so.
And look, sometimes when it takes that long, the peak is much higher. You know what I mean? So like Dave Chappelle taking that long, understanding and maybe being like used by the industry in the way that he did, gave him the lessons to where when he did get his show and he realized, hey, this isn't what I want it to be, he had the understanding to walk away. And because he is already found happiness without the industry, he could walk away from it, come back, and he'd even be bigger because of it. Now he gets to call all the shots, right?
Right.
And it's all because of that just
minutia or whatever they
well,
call it.
I think it's just more understanding, and it's like he has a life outside of it, right? And I think that's what's really important. A lot of times what we do becomes who we are, and that could be dangerous, especially because sometimes things are up and down, and we see it. Like, you know, we didn't get to it last week, but you know, we talked a little bit about mental health and with some of these athletes, and you notice that sometimes these athletes, when the sport gets taken away from them, they start getting in trouble, and it's because, you know, something that, or even
like they lost purpose.
Yeah, even like actors that the show gets canceled or whatever, you know, it's like that thing that was you is gone. Now it's like, who am I? You know,
that's kind of what happened with COVID. Because imagine all the people that lost their jobs, right? And then they're like sitting at home, gaining weight, depressed, you know, sad, and you don't even realize.
Have time to think.
Not only that, too, right? Like, you have the time to think. You have time to learn about your spouse.
Yeah.
Who you're like, damn, I don't even know if I like them.
Right.
Right? But, you know, people who go to work every day, they feel like they're lost in their job. Like, oh, I just, you know.
Hate it.
Yeah, I don't like it. I wish I could be at home more. But then you get what you wish for.
Right.
And then that sucks.
You're like, dang, I need to get back to work.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And then you're like, oh, shoot. Like, everybody has purpose.
Right.
The search for purpose is not even one that you have to put thought into, because your own mind will eventually just be like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What did you do today?
Yeah.
It takes a while. Like, you could go 6 months chilling and feel completely fine. Then one day you wake up and then you're just like, whoa.
And it's crazy how much like one could gain or lose in that time period, right?
Right.
I've been realizing like, so when I moved to California, it was kind of like a restart for me. That was about like 2 years ago or whatnot. And I think I had like this moment sometime last week where I was like, dang, like I've come a long way. And it was more not just necessarily like financially and where I was in life, but just like emotionally. I realized I was like, man, like, like I'm not as down as I ever used to be in the past. Like I'm like, dude, I'm never down now, and like things are going well. Like what we're doing here, I think is awesome.
Right.
The stuff with the YouTube channel, the communities I build, like it's just like stuff that I do tends to go well.
Mm-hmm.
When you get in those things where you're just like, wow, everything kind of is like just going good,
Yeah,
and you're just
right.
and you just like kind of notice it, and you're like, this is new. And it's
How'd I
like,
get here?
And I remember I've had moments like this in my past, but sometimes you just think it, you think it's all you, and you end up like getting arrogant about it. At least me personally, I got arrogant about it, cocky, and all this kind of stuff, and then it gets taken away, and it's just like, yo, what happened? Thinking back, I'm just like, wow, you took things for granted, like instead of just enjoying the moment or realizing what caused you to be successful, right? And like now I think, if when I get to a level of success that I'm looking for, I feel like I'll be able to appreciate it more, sustain it longer, and it'll be something that's like stationary just because of the way I'll be able to handle it, and also the understanding that you get to the point of how to be successful.
Right.
Sometimes you're doing it just purely on talent or kind of like talent plus luck and stuff like that.
Right. Timing.
Versus understanding what caused you to get to that point.
Creating a system.
Yep.
Like that's one of the things that I am learning now. And I every day. Like a system got me here, but then I need another system to get to another place.
Right.
And so it's crazy. The things that you wish for, you don't know what's the back catalog with that. Like you're just reading the title of a book.
Right.
But then it's like, damn, this book got chapters to it.
Yep. And you got to read all them footnotes. Like you can't just
you got to look up stuff you don't know.
Right.
It's crazy. But it's also inspiring, and it's exciting. There's a lot of frustrations that I kind of like. Losing this contract this week, I sat in my car for a bit, and I know if this was 5 years ago, I would have been really down about it. And it's not to say I'm not down about it. I haven't really put much thought about it after Friday. But I emailed the company and was just like, hey, if there's anything I could have done to make this a little bit better, that's it. Let me know, And then I keep kind of just, all right, well.
What more can you do, right?
That's
you can't,
it,
And dwelling on it doesn't change anything,
No. And you also can't blame yourself that much. Like, you're not going to work with everybody.
Right.
You're just not. And it's okay. And on average, like, failure works. Failure is the greatest form of success. Because now, from here on out, I may turn around and look at it and say, like, here are some things that if I notice in the future, I'll red flag it and just not want to do this anymore. But it is exciting, man. It's exciting. It's like a whole different form of life. And I also think too, like once I get into these zones, I start thinking about personal life a lot more. I fluctuate between the image of me and other people in the future a lot. Like sometimes.
What do you mean by that?
So sometimes like my vision of what I'm going to look like in 10 years is one thing, and then it changes like that.
Based off of new information?
Based off of like what happens. What did I learn in the last week? Like what did I learn? What did I accomplish? What did I do? How productive was I? And all this stuff like factors into my brain. Like, okay, can I do this for 20 years? Can I do this and be a husband? Can I do this and be somebody's dad? Can I do this? And you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, sometimes it's yes. A lot of times it's no. It's like, am I creating something that is giving me difficulty in the future? Should I chillax? I don't have a 401k. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
all these things that think that you
Are supposed to have.
you know, you gel with and put it inside of your head and all that stuff. And I'm definitely an overthinker sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my time, I'm KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. But there are other times where it's like the ideas start floating around and they seed themselves, and then a tree of ideas start floating around.
I think it's easier to be simple, or like see the easiest solution when you're trying to give other people advice, or when you're like when you're like helping somebody else figure things out. But when it comes to your own personal stuff,
it's complex.
Right?
It's a web.
Yeah.
Because one thing affects another thing,
Yep.
affects another thing, affects another thing. So it's exciting, man. And I want to shout out to some of my friends back home. I see you guys with your brow tech companies and your nail tech companies and all that stuff. Like, wow. One of my friends I want to say she's like 25, and she just got her office space for her nail and eyebrow company.
That's what's up.
And this is a girl who, you know, life hit her hard quite a few times. And she's leveling up, you know. So congratulations to everybody who's out there just hustling.
Absolutely.
You know, wherever you are. So it's exciting to me, man. And I love to see entrepreneurs actually entrepreneuring.
I just love seeing people win, man. Like, I think that's one thing that both of us have been pretty consistent with, is like, there's no hate bone in it. Like, when somebody's winning, it's like, yo, go out there and win. Like, do you?
Win. And even if you lose too, like, at least you.
I think there's a better understanding, like. You know, and I don't want to take it too political because we kind of went deep in that last week, but I feel like a lot of these people that hate on, kind of hate on like successful people or multi-billionaires and all this kind of stuff, the evil like corporations and whatnot, they just don't realize how hard it is and how much work it takes, and just like the amount of sacrifice, and they'll never realize the lows that they had to go through to be able to get there. All of the times that they felt like quitting, or they felt like, you know, this will never happen. They just hate on the finished product. Yeah. And I think the people that have gone through that or tried, even if they failed, have a better understanding of just like, man, I respect the person that made it that far, because I know how hard it was for me to even make it a thousandth of a percent of the way.
Facts.
Yeah.
Like, I have so much respect for these dudes, especially because I know most of these guys started off and are still indebted to other people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about the process, and I'm geeking out. You know, but like,
this is the stuff I could geek out with you about, though. Okay. This ain't movies.
You don't like art? You can't perceive art? So think about somebody like Bezos or Elon or whatever, any of these celebrity billionaires. There's so many more billionaires, but the first step to creating your masterpiece is borrowing money. Like, let's just see how much money we can borrow, or we can get siphoned into us so that we can get to the next level. Right? And originally, yes, you're going to pay yourself, so you make a pretty decent salary for however long. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then blah. But if it works, that money's not all yours. Like, you gotta
pay that back with interest.
Pay it back with some interest. But then, let's say you get to that level where your business is flourishing, but your ideas are larger than your income. So it's like, okay, we need even more money. Right. We need even more people donating and investing and all this stuff into this business. So you turn your business into a public entity. Right. And now everybody's dumping money into you, and now you're indebted to 100,000 people and not just a small group of people. Right. I think about that all the time. You are in debt to me. You're in debt to whoever it is that got on Robinhood and said, yo, you bought a stock. Like, imagine if everybody pulled their money out of Tesla, out of Amazon, out of this or that. They would just go in shock. Mm-hmm. They have reserves, but they probably would blow through that pretty quickly. Right. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, just believing so much in your idea that, yes, I will allow people to take their hard-earned dollars and invest it in me to me is so freaking scary. It's scary, dude. Like,
it's a responsibility.
oh man. And then like being responsible for 100,000, 200,000 people that work for you.
Right.
I think there's 800,000 Amazon employees, something like that.
I think it's closer to 1 million.
Let's see. It grew a lot in the last.
Because I don't think they laid anybody off during COVID.
I don't think so. Total Amazon employees.
It's like 900 something.
It grew a lot. It's 1.29.
Oh, so it's over.
So it's almost 1.3 million people.
Think about how many lives that changes. Because the lowest paying job at Amazon, I think, is like $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And I know my boy is a manager for Amazon. Mm-hmm. He started in he lived in Philly, was working in Jersey. Now he moved to Miami, still working with Amazon.
Oh.
It changed his life. Like he is, has a wife, 2 beautiful daughters. Like he's able to do whatever he wants because of the lifestyle Amazon has given him. He works, I think, 3 or 4 days a week, gets 3 or 4 days off.
Wow.
So he gets to raise his daughters. He works night shifts on the weekends and stuff. So like, crazy. So it's like completely changed his life. And I'm sure it's hard work. And during the whole COVID thing, there was a lot of drama about I guess work situations or work what's it called, like the surroundings at work and stuff like that. But
workplace safety, I guess.
Exactly. But if you only focus on the negatives, or like if you outweigh the negatives, like in the sense you weight them higher than realizing what
the monstrosities of the positives are.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think about what AOC did by, not allowing, Amazon to go to her district or whatever it was.
She did that?
Yeah, like that was one of the things she ran on, and like didn't let them because she felt like Amazon won. I think it was more about like ruining businesses around there or something like that. But the amount of jobs and well-paying jobs and the amount of lives that would have been changed in her district is incredible. I would love for Amazon to open up anywhere near me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just it makes everything better. Like property values are gonna go up. Like just the quality of everything's going. So many jobs are gonna be there. Like people are gonna be happier. Like. I don't know. Like I know it's not a perfect thing. I know there's flaws with every business, and obviously the main thing of a corporation is to make money. So sometimes at the expense of making more money, there's some humanitarian things that are let go of, or like if somebody's winning, that means somebody's losing as well. But overall, I think they get a worse name than
they deserve.
Well,
you know what? I think the difficulties of saying, oh, they're going to shut small businesses down, blah, blah, blah. Look, the world is adapt or die in general. Right. So if it's not Amazon, it's Walmart.
Right.
If it's not Walmart, it's Target. If it's
government.
If it's not them, it's the government.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of taxation to death. Or, like, this is the things that happened 2 administrations ago. And you can always blame somebody else for like, yo, they shut my business down. Like I had an Uber driver who had a language interpretation business, and he scaled it up to being worth about $4 million.
Wow.
And the government forced some form of regulation and shut his entire business down. And now he's an Uber driver. And he had it on his heart like, bro, I ran a $4 million entity. And he made it happen in 3 years. And for the government to come, because what ended up happening, I believe, he told me, somebody would have to go look it up, but he told me that the government started their own leg of medical interpretation. So they cut out all private entities.
Wow.
And so, of course, I felt bad for him. And at the same time, I was like, bro, you created a company. You saw a need somewhere, and you created a solution for it. So if I were you, I would just think about that in that general way, and then try it again somewhere else. And he was like, I never thought about it like that. I just thought like, oh, I started this thing, the government shut me down, I'm done for. And I was like, no, you're not done for. Because the thing is, you're a human being who has an eyeball to see problems. And if you see a problem, solve it.
And the skill set to create, obviously, a business that could thrive and grow and expand and stuff like that.
You know, and so it's pretty crazy, you know, just talking to people in the most simplistic ways. And then they're like, whoa.
Once again, easy to make other people's lives simple, more difficult to create, make your own, right?
But too, like, at the same time, too, like, I think it's about creating the left and the right turns. You know, how do I get somewhere? And you can look at a place like right down the street. You could look at it and not know how to get there. Right? Because in your vision, it's right there. But there's a wall there, there's a building there, there's another building there. So in order for me to get there, I have to create some kind of
path,
right, to get there. And sometimes we create paths that are entirely too complex. And I think that's what happens to me sometimes. The moment that I made things less complex, the more things started working out.
For sure.
You know, it's like I was, to give you an example, like I was ready to do anything and everything for anybody as long as a camera was involved. But then I was like, oh, wait, let me strip 98% of this away. Let me just strip it all away. And the moment I did that, it was like, poof. And one of my mentors, he told me this, and I tell other people this: go niche or go broke. That's a form of like, yo, simplify everything. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
You know? And once he said that to me, I was like, oh, snap. You know? And it's the way of life. A doctor who specializes in ear, nose, and throat, that's all they do.
Right.
But guess what? That's how they make their money.
Exactly.
They're not going to do brain surgery. They're not going to go do spine surgery. They're not going to do that. They do one thing.
Specialists.
It's crazy.
You know what I forgot? I think we forgot to do was acknowledge why Chris isn't here right now. Well, Chris is at the border right now.
Chris is at the border right now. So Chris found out that Joe Biden wanted to plug up some of the holes in the border, the wall.
Yeah,
which is true. And Chris said, "Adios, mio."
Órale.
I don't think that's all right. So he went down there, got himself a picket sign, got himself a bandana, and is out there
and some
just
tamales.
Doing what he got to do, passing around some Con Ganas media shirts, and making sure that everybody's okay. It's a little hot.
It is.
Passing around the
Latino water.
Passing around water.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, Chris will be back maybe next week. We don't know what's happening with Chris. Chris, you need to fix your garage.
Yeah, man. I think he's at some tequila festival though.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so actually.
How do you know that?
Because he told me.
A tequila festival?
Yeah, I guess his mom's in town, right? So
his mom is in town.
Yeah, he went to a tequila festival.
Shout out Sylvia, man. That's my dog.
Yeah, out near the beach somewhere.
You know, Chris does like him some tequila. But now that Chris is slightly older and a little bit more mature, he likes...
drinking it with his pinky out.
Yeah, like Modelo's. Anyways, let's talk ratchet stuff. So,
yo, before we go ratchet, you been watching these Olympics or no?
I didn't even know it started.
You know how many people have been saying that? And you know, so obviously how everything goes political, right? So there's this movement that are... you know, the people on the right that are like, oh, it's because, you know, the Olympics are going broke, you know, going woke. So you go woke, you go broke type of thing. There's all of these, like, politics going on and whatnot. But the Olympics happens every 4 years, right? And this year it happened with the extra fifth year, right? So 5 years ago was the Olympics. Think about how much has changed technology-wise and how we consume media, how we watch things in the last 5 years. So many people don't have cable anymore. Right? And where will we know about the Olympics and all that kind of stuff? It's all from the ads, the commercials. You'd see it a million times, where it's going to be, what time the shows are going to be, all that kind of stuff. Now, if you don't have cable, like you don't have cable, I don't have cable, how are you really gonna know? Like I don't like I've seen so many people on social media be like, how am I supposed to watch the Olympics? Like trying to figure out where to watch it at.
Nah, but the thing is, first of all, normally I don't really watch the Olympics in general. Granted, the last time the Olympics was on television, I was 25, so maybe I might be more interested in it now. I don't know, but we've heard so much about the Olympics coming up.
Right.
So much. They don't want black people doing this. They don't smoking weed. This, that. Every 5 seconds, there was a new story about the Olympics. We saw KD. They're singing happy birthday to him at the Olympics. Like, all this stuff about the Olympics. And yet, the difficult thing is they can't sell us the Olympics.
Right.
So, I actually think that they're just doing it on purpose.
What do you mean?
First of all, there's a large group of people that just don't want to watch it. Like, they say that it's racist. They don't want to watch it. Second, there's people testing positive.
Yeah.
If I saw that story
Mm-hmm.
in the Olympics, and they're just not letting them participate at
Right.
all. So it just seems like the bubble Olympics. Like, it's happening, but like, So
it's crazy because I feel bad because these athletes, it's such an honor for them to be able to compete, and there's just so much drama with this Olympics. I just really hope it doesn't ruin it because these athletes are sacrificing for 5 years of their life, and to have it just be ruined because of so much political selfishness and all this kind of stuff, it's just like, come on, man. Like,
shoot, I don't know. I wasn't gonna watch it anyway. Maybe I watch.
I used to.
Really like the track and field.
Track and field, swimming, gymnastics. I think we're all dope. Team USA just lost today
What,
to
for
France.
real?
Yeah, the first time in 24 years that the Team USA lost
Basketball?
in the first. Yeah.
To France?
Yeah.
Who's on the French team?
Rudy Gobert, Evan.
He was out there making fun of COVID.
He sure was.
Get Rudy Gobert deported, bro. Get out of here. Whoa.
Yeah.
He lost. What was the score?
They lost by like 8 or something like that.
Kevin Durant was playing?
Yeah. He went like 0 for 6 in the fourth quarter or something like that. Yeah.
Who else is on the team?
A lot of people.
On the American team.
Bam Adebayo, Drew Holiday, KD's there.
Something tells me they're not really.
It's not like all super. Like LeBron isn't on the team. Obviously, he's AD's not there.
They're hurt. Huh?
Hurt, like recovering, stuff like that.
Something tells me that they're not. That the Team USA is just kind of blah about it.
I don't know if it's that as much as the rest of the world is caught up, man. Think about just in the NBA how many international players there are now. There's just a lot. Like people don't even realize they're for like they play international because they just expect them. Oh, they play in the NBA. They're American. Nah, man, they're playing at other teams.
No.
Yeah, right.
Wall. No. Because I know my boy Giannis.
Yeah,
he's from Greece, right?
Greece, yeah, and then like Luka's, plays for Slovenia. He's one of the best players in the league.
That's
like,
true. Yeah. I saw him get rocked a couple months ago. He was telling that story of I waited for LeBron and then he lost the game. I was like, man, bro, don't tell me stories and then lose. He lost bad too.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, it's too bad. I really don't like when Team USA loses.
Yeah, India got a silver medal in weightlifting, women's.
Women's?
Yeah, man.
India?
Yup.
Whoa. Yeah. That's kind of random.
Yeah, man. India, for as many people as it is, doesn't have a lot of medals, but they're starting to jump up.
Weightlifting?
Yeah.
I have a question, but I don't really know how to ask it. Is it all...
Use your words.
Cisgendered women?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
She is.
Or actually, I don't even know if cis is the correct word. But
yeah.
Okay.
But she was born a female. Let's just put it that way.
XY chromosome?
XX is a woman. XY is a man.
Okay, cool. Moving on, yo.
Moving on.
So the Olympics is happening. Ain't nobody watching it.
Shout out to America. Let's go, Team USA. Better come up with more gold medals than China. Let's just put it that way.
Yikes. So is the basketball team done?
Nah, I mean they're just in group play right now, but.
Oh, so ain't no medals.
Not yet.
Oh, yo, when the medals is up, we're gonna wash you.
They better.
They ain't win one yet, huh?
Yeah, huh?
They ain't win one game yet, huh?
This is the first game in the Olympics.
Oh, so they
all those other games are scrimmages.
So this one is like they need
the first in the group, yeah. So like I think they play different groups, and then the top teams make it to the like Olympic tournament.
So we're still in though.
Yeah, but
we're not knocked out.
Not yet.
That's crazy. Imagine the end just being like India and Rafstafazan.
India basketball team ain't even in the Olympics, bro. Come on. Come on, bro.
I didn't even know they had women weightlifters. Are they? Let me know.
Let's go. Hey, let's talk about Haiti. What's Haiti got up in there?
Nothing.
Exactly.
The last time we was in the Olympics, dude fumbled all over the place.
That's messed up.
Did you see that meme where it was like Team Italy walking into the Tokyo place and it's all the dudes from Jersey Shore?
That's terrible, man. I saw this meme because Italy won the Euro Cup this year, and so like it was like talking about like don't it was some kind of like ironic meme where it was talking about like Italians don't talk with their hands. And it was like ... and then it showed a video of the Italian team backstage, like when they're coming on for the second half, and all of them were like just talking with their hands. They're like, it was just like every single one was like, "What are you talking about?
I was trying to tell you,
that's Jersey, bro.
That's it.
This is actually Italian, man.
What are you talking about?
Yo,
yeah. Italy's a place I would love to go back to. I haven't been there since I was a kid, if I even
I haven't been to Europe, but it's definitely a place I want to go.
Europe is alright, man, but I went in 2000 Europe, pre 9/11. I went in summer of 2000. My mom took us for a good bit. I want to say backpacked, but like just kind of went from place to place. We went to Netherlands. We went to France. Quite a few places. I can't totally pack everything in my brain at the moment.
How was your French when you were out there?
So I speak French from Montreal, and
is that much different from French?
It is pretty different because some of the words are the same, but they have different meanings. So I remember saying something like, "I want some ice," and they were like, "Why is he talking about the window?"
That's wild.
You know what I'm saying? It was like,
that doesn't even make sense.
And it was because I kind of got it even as a kid because it was like glass and like glass. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I was like, okay. And they also speak super fast
in France or in Montreal.
In France,
okay.
They speak uber fast. So it's like, you know, when you see Spanish people and it's like, or like people who speak Spanish and they're like, and they're amongst each other and you're like, how the hell? Because even in English, we don't even talk that fast.
Right.
Like Ben Shapiro talks super fast, and even then we're like, why does he talk so fast?
Right.
You know, but in English, it's just like, yo, I'm telling you know. But I remember that being a clear thing, like cake meant cookie, you know, cookie meant cake, you know. But on average, like you're totally able to communicate.
Right.
You just sometimes you get that little like, or they'll be like, you're not from here.
Right.
You know, we get what you're saying, but you have that like Canadian accent or something like that. And it was like, oh, that's cool, you know. But I was able to communicate when they recognize that you're from somewhere else, but you're still a French speaker, they automatically speak slower.
Oh, okay.
It's like they just like something clicks in their brain and they're like, okay, got it.
I heard in France, if you don't know how to speak French, they treat you like pretty rude.
You know, there's this thing about French people being rude, and I can so see it. I could so see it. It's something I've heard a lot at airports. Like they're always like, French people are so rude. It's funny because when you go there, they're rather kind. You know, they were nice to me. I had a good time there. But there is a certain like meh about them. You know, there's like this like prestige.
Arrogance?
Yeah, like we're friends. You know, and it's like, all right, buddy. You know, so I can see it, especially like I think that there's very little patience with if you don't understand me, which I think even that correlates to people in New York. Like if you don't get me within 30 seconds,
we done.
yeah, like why are we talking?
Right.
You know, so I can definitely see that if they're like, yo, pick that up, and then you're like, what? And it's like, whoa, it goes from 0 to 100 really fast. Wow. So I get it. They're not.
How long did it take you to
people.
assimilate or like get the New York out of you when you moved to California?
Well, I lived in Florida first.
How long did it take you to get the New York out of you when you lived in Florida?
Well, I lived in Florida as a kid. So it's funny, my cousin Steve told me the other day, he was like, bro, you still register like your personality is still one of a New York dude. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
But other times people are like, dude, you're really Southern. You know? And so I think it just like depends.
Florida's considered Southern, like as far as like what you quote unquote think of a Southern type person.
So that Florida is such a interesting state. South Florida is not the South.
Yeah.
It's not. It's technically the most southern thing, but
Yeah.
it is not the South.
It's South by location and direction,
Yes.
but not necessarily.
But it's
by
just filled
culture.
with old New Yorkers. Like that's all it is. It's just filled with people from New York, people from Massachusetts, people who were tired of the snow. They went to Fort Lauderdale, they went to Miami, and then they had kids. North Florida, on the other hand, southern as hell.
It's more like Georgia.
Georgia, even if you get to Central Florida. So, like, when I moved to Melbourne, I remember people saying, we're going hunting in mud. And I didn't think much about it. I was just like, oh, okay. But now that I think back, I started thinking about, like, I remember when I got a Confederate flag jacket as a gift. And it wasn't like they were trying to troll me or anything. It was just like, we got layers for you. You know? Here you go. And I got it and was just like, nah.
You guys understand what this flag represents, right?
Yeah. We good? Nah, man, we got this because we love you, dude. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna just put this in my closet.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Like, I
I'm
think
gonna resell this shit on eBay.
Appreciate y'all. And I knew like there wasn't no true malice. Like it was just like country people.
That's just a culture.
Yeah, it's just country people, and I love them. Like, Florida is just that interesting spot. Like, just the more north you go, the more south it gets.
It's funny how states get pigeonholed by like certain I guess what's it called, stereotypes. So like when you think Florida, you think Miami, right? When you think California, you think either LA or you think San Francisco,
Diego,
right?
San Francisco,
right?
Those three spots.
But if you go to like Central, where I'm from, Bakersfield, it's completely different than LA.
For sure.
Or there's certain parts in California is one of the biggest states, right? Yeah. So there's so many different like things in between all that kind of stuff. And that you explain Florida, it makes a lot of sense too. But in my head, I'm thinking Florida. I'm thinking South Beach. I'm thinking Cubans, right. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, everybody's dancing, speaking with an accent, eating food, a lot of flamingo dresses, and
that's South Florida for sure.
Right. But
and
people
in a certain
assume
area
that's the whole state, right? But it's not.
Yeah, that's definitely not the whole state. But Florida is just like a magical place, man. To be honest with you, like Central Florida is so dope, but South Florida is also so dope. Central Florida is dead. Like, there's stuff happening, but it's kind of just like...
Where are the Everglades at?
Everglades.
So that's the swamp.
Man, where is the Everglades? Is it North Florida?
I think it's close to Miami, because when I went, it was like a couple hours from Miami.
There used to be Everglades Mall, I think, when I was growing up, but
I remember
suddenly
we
forget.
canoed. This girl that I was dating, we went there for my birthday before we were going to.
You was out there with these ladies.
Yeah. But like we went canoe. She's dope enough. She got this canoeing trip on the Everglades, and we went and dude, the mosquitoes that bite you there, dude, it is insane.
Yeah, Florida. I grew up having just scars and scabs from the mosquito bites in Florida. Let's see. So the Everglades on the map. I have an Android, so just please. It's taking a while for it to pop up. So, okay, I know where Lake Okeechobee is, and then you have the Gulf of Mexico, you have the Atlantic Ocean, and then you have the Florida Bay. Why? It's kind of like difficult to really see where the Everglades are, but I guess it's in the south.
Yeah, I figured because we went to Miami too. It wasn't too far away. So.
Oh yeah. I didn't really do much of that stuff. Like I didn't go to the Everglades. I didn't go to. Damn, that's crazy. I haven't said that. Word. Like it's like how do you even know what that is? I didn't go to the Keys, which is a place
that's nuts, right? I think a lot of people that live in the certain state, like I bet you there's so many people in California that's never been to Sequoia or never been to yeah, you know what I mean?
And I've
like,
been here for 12 years.
Yeah, and it's like so beautiful. Or like been to Joshua Tree or been to like, isn't that nuts? Like, I think a lot of times we take for granted
where we live.
What's
crazy is I worked in the Valley in Northridge for a few years, and there were people who are born and raised in the Valley who'd never been to Hollywood and Highland.
That's nuts, right?
That's 30 minutes away.
Yeah, and people will come from all around the world just to see that.
And you're like, I don't even know how to get there.
You're like, you can get there.
I live right next door to it, but you know what's crazy? And these are things that I am going to actively change. I've never been to Disneyland.
What?
I've never been to Six Flags. I went to Knott's Scary, but I've never been to Knott's Berry. Mm-hmm. I've never been to Universal. On this side of the world.
I've performed at Knott's Berry Farm like 3 or 4 times.
What you mean?
Yeah, so I went for a dance tournament when I was younger. The boy took first place and all that kind of stuff.
Dance? And is that why your knees are so popping?
Come on, man. And then in college, we did our Indian culture shows there. So I performed that twice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's dope. I had a great time at Not Scary.
Yeah, that's when they do everything backwards, right? All the rides they run backwards.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't get on any of the rides, but just the production quality.
I love it. As you said it, and you're like, just like the way
it. No, because I got that. Because you expect, because Knott's Berry is not one of the big ones.
No.
It's just like.
It used to be, but then when Disney and Universal and all that kind of stuff, like.
I knew about Knott's Berry because there was a show that I used to watch as a kid that they had special annual episodes at Knott's Berry. So when I came out here, people were like, "Oh, Knott's Berry, you probably never heard of it." I was like, "No, I know." Colby's Clubhouse used to go to Knott's Berry every year.
That's funny.
So I knew about it, and I didn't know how cheap it was too to go there. But I went there, and I expected really poor quality because it was like $30 or $40 to go.
Yeah,
and because Universal has the high quality stuff. So when I went there,
Disney does too.
Disney, another one. My friend just told me she took her kids out there. One ticket, park hopper, was like $180. Yo, Disney is out here robbing y'all. I'm gonna get robbed too though.
That doesn't even include like food and stuff.
Food, parking.
Yo, one like turkey leg there when I went. This was years ago. It was like $15.
And can you bring your own food or no?
Nah,
you can't.
Rob. Not even your own water.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
They check your bags and everything.
That's wild. Whatever. Not my business. Not my problem. But
you better take some money with you if you going to Disney.
That's facts. But I went there expecting like cardboard cutouts of stuff, and like when I got there, they had lights. They had different rooms.
Yep.
Like you go to, and each room, like they did it. There was real hay, real like fake blood. I was like, whoa, what is this? Yeah. That's why even though it's a nerdy thing to say, I thought I was gonna go in and get garbage. You know, just like some kids running around in some bad makeup. No, it was legit, and they had real shows and stuff. Like not scary. Was top tier.
There's even like Temecula's not too far from here, right? It's like hour and a half.
Temecula's not far.
Yeah. Supposedly there's like really nice wineries there. I've never even.
Oh yeah.
I never even knew that.
I need to go to these things.
Dude.
I think some of the difficult things about some of these things is they're like relationship spots. You know, like a single guy going to Temecula to drink wine.
You of all people take everything that is usually a relationship thing you do by yourself anyways.
What do you mean?
You just spoke about a couple episodes ago about that whole spa thing that you did.
I definitely do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think of that as a couple thing.
It's definitely a couple thing.
Oh, shit. I ain't never thought about that. Oops.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've been saying my whole life. So I'm going to do some of these things.
True.
But, yeah. But with drinking wine, like one time I did take a trip to some random place. I went by myself. I think it was like Apple or something. I just drove anywhere. So I have a habit of doing this. I get on Google Maps. I zoom in on anywhere on the map, and I drive there. And I really enjoy it. The drive, like driving to me is so
peaceful.
Yeah. I can drive for hours and hours and hours. And like sometimes I get in my car and just drive around the city.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I just really enjoy it.
I see you on your IG reel sometimes be posting on your IG stories. It's
yeah.
Like, what's Kelly doing over here right now?
Yeah. I mean, most of the time now I'm busier.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm in different spots just because I'm in different spots. But there are times where I can legit drive 6 hours and just go. Like last year, me and my friend Dakia, we went to San Francisco because I've been in LA since 2009, never saw the Golden Gate Bridge.
Wow.
And so we got in the car, drove, spent the night there, had a really nice time. But that drive, it just does something to my brain, you know, where I'm like just really enjoying it. So I got in the car and I went to some place that was a winery and I had a good time by myself. But you get into this like zone where like the drive is fine, the experience at the top is fine, but then you want to like share it with somebody.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah, you're like, dang. It would be really cool if I could tell this one joke that I got.
Yeah. Am I lonely?
I feel like wine taste. I've never been wine. Have I been wine tasting?
It's a good experience. I went there in Oklahoma.
I actually don't know if I've been wine tasting. I don't think I have, but I feel like it is a couple thing or just all like a girls trip.
Yeah,
I don't feel like just all dudes could go pull up to the wine.
You got to pull up in somebody's Nissan Altima.
You gotta go to that brewery because all dudes. We go to that brewery.
And you can't even like comment on the drink. Like, this is actually really good. Shut up.
You know what this would taste really good with? Pairing this with the real.
yo, shut your mouth. Never talk again.
Yo, dude.
We're just trying to get drunk. But I went with this very nice lady. I went wine tasting in Oklahoma. And boy, did she teach me some things. She was like older than me. And she was like, eat this cracker. Drink this cup of coffee.
About this lady before. For those of you that are following, put two and two together about this Oklahoma lady.
What you talking about?
We're talking about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I had a really nice time. I had an Indian driver.
Oh, man. Why is Kelby single?
Somebody asked me that last night.
Well, I asked you right now. Talk to me about it.
Why are you single?
Am I?
Oh, snap. Huh?
I don't know.
How do you not know it's your life? You know what?
But you hear how Kelby deflected?
No, I'm answering.
Kelby deflected.
No, I'm answering right now. Knees. You want to pull this thing up? Yeah. So, I think there's many things to it. I didn't really grow up like talking to mad girls like that. So I think I have a little bit of an issue talking to people like in a romantic way.
In what sense? Like being vulnerable or
like flirting,
consistent?
but I'm also a little bit scared of like putting myself out there with other people, only because like I don't really want to. We'll be back after this break. Men on the Internet podcast. Find us on every podcasting app every Tuesday. Full episodes on YouTube every Thursday, and clips on YouTube throughout the week. And trust me, we're going crazy.